Okay, people, this your man HRap B coming at you live and not direct. What I have to do is start the show over. A lot of people miss a whole lot of stuff that we said. I apologize. I looked in the corner and saw schedule. This is a podcast. I'm gonna blow through the intro. This is a podcast. The people who are in the chat room, I apologize. And I know y'all like, man, when they coming on? I apologize. We on. This is a podcast. Y'all already know. Y'all know my ancestors. William, the Pollards, the Whitmores, the Pattersons, the Turners, Kylers, Walkers, Shaws, good God, Shaws, Thompson, Chris, Lansdowne, Liggins, Duncan, Trotter, Brandy, Brandon, Duncan, Williams, Wilson, Johnson. Thank you for tuning in. This is In the Bench. This is Rapping with HRap. I got Charlotte. I got RaiderKev. People on the listening side already heard it. Charlotte, please say what you're saying so the people in cheap seats can hear you. Woo!
Forgiveness.
Shout out to RaiderKev. This is called bonus coverage.
Bonus content.
Yeah.
Bonus content. I like that. Forgiveness for me is being able to let go of any hurt or anger or resentment, those toxic emotions, right, that we feel. If I feel someone's hurt my feelings or has done something wrong to me, rather than dwelling on it or holding a grudge or stewing on it, forgiveness for me is being able to say, I'm going to overlook that. I think those are the right words I want to use.
Okay, RaiderKev, please repeat what you said. The people on the podcast side, they know what you said, but the people on the video side,
I was just about to text you.
Lost. If it ain't microphones, it's cameras. I'm messed up.
If I was better at multitasking, maybe I could have got it done quicker. I was trying to text you. Anyway, so forgiveness to me is kind of complicated because I think there's different layers to it, and people's assumption of forgiveness, I think, is not adequate or not appropriate. Forgiveness to me is just a simple, you're releasing the anger, you're accepting the anger, or accepting the situation that caused you to be angry, caused you to have an issue, right? And you're telling this person that I've accepted what has happened. But what people don't really gather from that, though, is that just because I accept it doesn't mean I'm allowing that to happen continuously, or I'm just going to allow this to go unchecked or unpunished. I could forgive you and still punish you. so that's and vice versa. If I do something wrong, I expect the same. Just because you've forgiven me doesn't mean I don't have to change, or I don't have to do better. So that's the complication, I think, with forgiveness. I think it's just an acceptance of the issue, but that mean you are forgotten.
Okay, with me. Shout out to people that always text me in the podcast. It's great that I got to interrupt and respond. But what a jerk. But forgiveness for me, maybe I need to be on a big camera for this one. Forgiveness for me, and this ain't Charlotte talking. I'm slipping, man. Forgiveness for me. Forgiveness is simply just letting it go. A lot of people think I don't have the ability to forgive things, and people think I carry things because at one point in my life, I'll just cut you off. Because what people don't realize is this. In order for me to have gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm done with you. I have forgiven you several times. My issue didn't used to be I had anger. I used to embrace what people used to call anger management issues, right? And I never had anger management issues. I had the inability to address things in the proper fashion. I didn't address things when they were supposed to happen. Like, you kick me in the ankle, I overlook it. You kick me in the knee, I overlook it. You punch me in the stomach, I overlook it. You punch me in the chest, I overlook it. You slap me in the face, I overlook it. And then after all that, you'll gently brush up against my shoulder and I spaz out, right? So I would allow those kinds of things to go on. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 5 things that I've forgiven or overlooked. And then the slight, I spaz out. So people didn't think I have the ability to forgive. And they never, and the thing that annoyed me about it was people saw the kick in the ankle, knee, punch in the stomach, punch in the chest, slap in the face. And they would only address the brush against my shoulder and go, hey, well, you tripping. That's not so, that's nothing to trip over. And then that's what used to anger me the most, right? So forgiveness for me is ultimately letting it go. Just let it go. Because a lot of people won't let things go. If, everybody handles things the way they're gonna handle it, and this is not a correction show, and this is the way you should. These are 3 people, along with the listeners who are in the chat room. Salute to you. Thank you for tuning in, and then people on Spreaker.com. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for commenting if possible, and thank you for hitting the heart. And the people over here, thank you for hitting like, subscribe, and the alert button. So all of the content will be sent to you on via text or however you have your phone set up. But it's just letting it go for me. And other people, like you said, Kev, hey man, I ain't letting it go. Just because I forgive you don't mean I let it go. And that's cool, because guess what? That's the water Kevin Johnson has to carry. Charlotte carries different water. I carry different water, and everybody who listens, they got their own pail to carry. But with me, if I forgive you, I'm gonna let it go. But that does not mean I grant you access to my person, right? And something else that people confuse with this word forgiveness, like you said, it's a multi-tentacled octopus. Just because I've forgiven you and I've let it go and we still cool, we still need to have a conversation. That's, in my opinion, that's the only way we can ever get back to where we were. People think because the calendar has changed or the week or the day has changed, it's enough time. You shouldn't be, what they do is say, Kev, you shouldn't be mad at HRap this long. You should let it go. No. HRap an asshole, and he needs to apologize to me, and he needs to address what he said, and we can have a conversation. And then maybe we could go back to being best friends. But up until and including that moment, no. That's, to me, that's how you are re-granted access after forgiveness. There are tons of people in this world that'll offend you, that'll disrespect you, call you out your name and lie about you, or do anything that offends you. And they think because the hourglass is always, the sand is always flowing through the hourglass, that's cool. And that's just not. Anybody, y'all want to retort or add something to it? Y'all want to just go to the next one?
I have a question about what you just said.
Okay, I'm listening.
So to me, what you just said, so addressing the problem addressing whatever the
offense is.
Thank you. With the person that offended you, to me, that's closure. So do you feel like you have to have closure before you have the forgiveness?
Me personally?
Yes.
No. Because I can forgive you and then lock the door. Because I'm not mad at you anymore. See, that's something else. Now, that's why people thought I couldn't forgive people. Because you would offend me and I would go, okay, I'm done with you. Now, I'm not angry anymore, but you've crossed this line. See, I use this metaphor time in and time immemorial. We start off at the Atlantic Ocean, right? And you step on my toes and I back up. If my heels ever we're gonna cross the Mississippi. If my heels hit the Pacific Ocean, we're done. That's how many opportunities you get. But if you use those opportunities, understand, I'm not angry with you. I'm not dealing with you anymore, because then with my reputation, I'm gonna be the villain. When I finally cuss you out, look, Brian can't, you see how Brian is. You know, I hear that all the time. Homeboys, family. You know how Brian is. How am I? Because people will tell me that I'm a hothead, and then I remind them, see, this is something that, this is hard for somebody like me. I remember things in detail, step by step. I don't know how I got it. Maybe it's a family trait or something. Maybe my grandmother, my grandfather was like that. I remember things from 5th grade like it was yesterday. So when you step on my toes, I'm going to remember the offense. So when you try to brush it under the rug without addressing it, I'm going to go, no, that's not what happened. And the biggest thing with me with forgiveness, and RaiderKev said, that don't mean we cool. I forgive you, but this is how you get forgiveness from me. This is how you make it cool again. Just say, hey man, little situation we had, my bad. And that's accountability. You ain't got to go into, see, I kicked you that one day, and I kicked you in the knee that other day. Just say, you know what, dog, my bad. You don't even got to address what it is, and me and you both know what it is. My bad. And people won't do that, and that's why it's hard. That's why I would shut the door on people. Like, what? I've never done anything to you, and then bam. My man Knox said, I have a question. Why do people bring up horoscope to define people on how they behave? Actually, Knox, man, I don't. Hey, Knox, I'm not an astrologist. That's my man DJ Mad Knox, brother on the good brother right there. Good, that's my good brother right there from New Jersey. First of all, like I told you, I don't have no friends. I got brothers. That's another one of my brothers right there, DJ Mad Knox. He's on Built for This Network. He usually comes on Thursdays with him and his crew, Theory of the Culture, DJ Mad Knox, Chiz Roundtree, and my man James Earl. Now, what I will say with that, Knox, is this. Take this into consideration, Knox. The earth is made up 75% of water. You and I are made up of 75% water. The moon affects the ocean. The way the moon is tilted, a meteor hit the moon thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of years ago, and created the moon. The moon, the way the moon shifts, determines on how the water on the earth reacts. So if that moon can determine how something as big as the earth acts, why wouldn't it be able to determine how you act? It's easy to say, well, you're supposed to have control over that, but are you more powerful than nature? So I'm not saying yes or no, but it could be. I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from a scientific perspective, and that could be it. That could be it.
I got a question about that.
Go ahead.
So what if, and I'm not discounting astrology and all that. I'm not discounting it. I'm not fully on board, okay? And I don't understand it, okay? Put it like that. It's not that I'm not on board. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't understand it, okay? So if someone does something to me and they say, well, you know what? It's just in my nature, man. I'm a Gemini, and that's just, whatever Geminis do, right? So am I supposed to be okay with that? I don't understand it. No. Do I just look at it? I'm be honest. The way I look at it is like, okay, you're giving me an excuse, and you want me to accept,
Okay. See, that's the beautiful part about being a human being, though, right? We are mammals, which makes us animals. We have instinctive behavior. But the difference in us and a dog, or us and a whale, and us and a Cape buffalo, we have cognitive thought, which brings about the accountability. Oh man, Kev, I spazzed out, man. Leos are hot-blooded, man, with fire signs. That's why we attack like that. Now, the next thing out your mouth needs to be, in my opinion, hey, but I apologize if I offended you. But that's just the way I am. So try to work with me with my hot-headedness, and I'll work on that. And that's how you see, that's my whole thing, accountability. Right. People don't want to be accountable for their poor behavior.
Right.
You can have mistakes. Man, look, dog, I got this motto, and I've adapted it since like 1996. The next time I wake up and don't make a mistake will be the first time I wake up and don't make a mistake. Right. So, yeah, I'm not asking people to be perfect, because Daryl Edmonds, 1985, Westerhouse lunchroom. Daryl was my buddy. Derek Edmonds. He was my buddy. He walked up to me and said something. I was mad at Miss whoever, probably Miss Swanko, it was the 5th period. And I barked on him hard. Derek never spoke to me again. To this day, Derek does not speak to me.
Wow.
So that's a lesson I had to learn. That's a lesson I had to learn. So yeah, I'm a fire sign. I don't know about astrology either. I was just using signs. But yeah, I'm a fire sign. But that don't give me carte blanche to cuss people out because I'm in a bad mood. Because then at that point, you need the hell slapped out you, and myself included. I'm not saying slap people, but hell yeah. You can't disrespect people and then go, hey man, I was born July 15th. That means I'm 30% retarded. No, man. No. Now, if you special needs, then yeah, you need to be forgiven. But no, I'm not going along. I'm not going along with that. No. That don't give you the right to disrespect people. My man Mo said, I struggle with forgiveness, but I've mastered the art of cutting people off completely. Hey man, this is what I say to Mo, and y'all can respond to Mo too. Right on, brother. Because guess what? You get one life. It's two things that's gonna happen in this life. You are born and you're going to die. You need to have as many of them 365 happy as humanly possible. And if people are infringing on your happiness, tell them bye. If anybody want to comment on that, please do. Oh, I think Mo and Gemini Kev. He coming out. Next time he's South Carolina, he putting a hole here. He putting a hole in one of the tires on the truck.
Yeah, all I could add to what Mo's saying is I definitely understand. I mean, it's hard to allow people that's not adding to your life to continue to be into your life. Life is too short, like you said, man. Life is too short to sit back and try to allow these people to drag you down and slow you down. So I get it, Mo. I get it.
Hey, check it out. Another one of my sayings: life is too short to be unhappy, and it's too long when you're unhappy.
All right.
Charlotte, you got anything to add to that?
I wanted to go back to you with your toes in the Atlantic Ocean for a second, and I'm not picking on you. I totally respect everything that you said. So if someone is constantly pushing you, or they have offended you more than once, do you address it as it occurs, or do you just let it build up and then blow? Because I know for myself, my temperament, I'm getting better at it, but I used to be like you. Like I would bottle up things and just brush it off, and then then I would blow and I would really explode because I had held on to those feelings of being offended for so long. So I have learned for my own self, it's better to address things as they come rather than hold on to them and let them build. And then in terms of Big Mo's comment, I agree with him. But I also want to say how important it is for him to be able to forgive, because whoever is doing the offending, I have learned that 99.9% of the time, they haven't given it a second thought. They're not dwelling on it. They may not even realize, right, that they have offended or hurt me. And so I have learned, again, from my spiritual health, to forgive because it frees me. So that's the only comment I wanted to make with Mo's comment. But I just wanted to ask you, because I feel like it is important that you address the offenses as they happen, so you don't have that build up inside of you.
To answer that, what I'll do to answer that is this: I didn't used to do it, and that's why I was spaz out on people, and that's how I got the shout out to my rest in peace to my cousin Vincent and my cousin Mike. They watch they watching. Like I said, the ancestors all he's in the extraterrestrial realm. Vincent and Mike is watching. That's how I got the nickname Angry Man, because I didn't know how to address things. Y'all always laugh at me when I bring up dates, but Thanksgiving Day 2006 is when I realized that Dolores and Annette Pollard, rest in peace, my mom. I was angry with my ex. I don't remember what I was angry about, but I was at my Aunt Rita's house. We used to have a get down every year at my Aunt Rita's house, and we had a ball, right? So when we having a ball, I'm usually loud and bombastic like everybody else. There's no such thing If you part of that, if you're on my mama's side, if you on any side of my family, ain't no quiet people. Not at all. We loud as hell. So whole house, you could probably, she was at 4210, you probably heard us at 3800, you probably heard us at 5100. And I'm quiet this day. And my mom didn't find out until real late in my life, probably about I was about 40, how jacked up my attitude was. And she would have nipped it, she'd have addressed it, right? This day she finds out. I sit on the porch. It's cold outside. It's Thanksgiving in Chicago. It's one of the traditional things. Thanksgiving is cold. I'm sitting out on the porch, just like I'm dressed now, sweatshirt, sweatpants. I'm sitting on the porch. I'm mad. So she put on her coat. She come outside and she said, "Brian, what's wrong?" And you know how parents are. You know how mothers are. Nothing ain't gonna suffice, right? So she says, what's going on? So she pressed me, and I said, "I think he pissed me off." He said, "Oh, okay, that's it." I was like, "Yeah." She said, "What Nikki doing right now?" I was like, I'm thinking in my head, "What?" And I say, "I don't know." She said, "I bet she ain't mad," and went right back in the house. And that's when I realized I'm mad all fucking day. And she at her folks' house, laughing and joking, kicking it with her people, ain't thinking about my black ass. Or if she thinking about me, she probably thinking, "Oh, this fat ass ain't mad no more. And I ain't got time to deal with this shit." And when I got back in the car, I said, "What's up? What's up?" Went on home and it was cool. But the life lesson I got right then is, who give a damn if you mad? Let it go. Let it drift. Let it drift. Put it in the river, let it drift on down. And if that's that, and if it's serious, have a conversation. If it's not, let it go. And 99.9% of the offenses that I've been pissed off with people, been slight offenses, but I did, as you stated, I didn't address them in a timely fashion. They built up and then, or I'm done. Like my cousin Mike, shout out to my cousin Mike, we talking 2 days ago. He said, "Boy, your favorite line used to be, that motherfucker dead." And that was, "If you push me too far, you dead to me. I'm out." I wouldn't say it to them, but I just look at them like, you know what, I ain't dealing with this shit no more. But was I dealing with it? Or was they offending me? It'd be different offenses, and they never address it, and then we never move forward. I never move forward, right? So that's what it was. So now I do know how to address it, and I don't have as much. I ain't gonna never lose that angry man thing, because hell, I was angry man for 40 years. They gonna be angry man for 40 years and get rid of him in 11. I'm gonna need another 40 years. By the time I turn 90, I ain't angry man no more. So it is what it is. Okay. How does forgiveness work, RaiderKev?
All right. So forgiveness, how does it work? I think different people handle it differently. What works for me is that I don't identify the issue. I identify how it came about, or so let's put an example. Something that's kind of, let's say trust in a relationship that was violated, right? I could forgive that person if I know that I want this relationship to continue. I want this relationship to move forward, right? I could forgive that person, but like I said earlier, I'm not going to forget. So I'm forgiving for me, so I can move on, so I can have peace of mind and not dwell on all the time, right? But you have to work on the issue. Whatever the issue is, it still exists. So you work on the issue. Forgiveness to me is more about you than about them. Because like you spoke about earlier, Brian, in that situation with your ex-wife. So like you said, man, she was having a great time with her people. That forgiveness was needed for you to get on with your day, for you to be happy, for you to move on. And if it was something that had to be addressed, you can address it because you forgiven, but you haven't forgotten. Okay? So I think forgiveness, the way you forgive is, I don't even think the issue's got to be solved. Okay? What you have to, I think it's all about, to me, this is me. Everyone else has their own process. But for me, the way I look at it is, once somebody does something to me, I evaluate what I want to go moving forward, what I want to do moving forward with this person. What type of relationship do I want to have? Okay, so if I know that this is something that, you know, I can get past over time, if things are done correctly, I can get past over time, I can forgive that person, and I'm moving on. Okay, either way, I'm going to probably forgive that person. It's just that how am I going to go moving forward? Am I going to continue to pursue our relationship, or am I going to cut that person off? But forgiveness for me is more about how I feel about the person or the act. So I think forgiveness is really about you. It's about you being able to accept the situation.
My man, again, man. Once again, it's on. Charlotte, next up, I believe that's you.
Me, live and live in color. So forgiveness to me, again, our word for 2022 is intentional, and forgiveness is an action. It has to be something that you are consciously doing. So you have to be willing to not hold on to, I call them toxic emotions, because I feel like we always talk about like spiritual attacks, and I feel like that's when you hold on to anger and hatred and resentment, that just wears down on your spirit. And so forgiveness again is being able to consciously say, I'm going to stop thinking about this. I'm going to stop dwelling on this. I'm not going to keep feeling these negative emotions about this act or this person even. And if we can't have a discussion about it so we can clear the air, then walking away, definitely. I will be the person who will walk away before I have a confrontation. So if things get heated and they're escalating, then I'll be the one to say, okay, I'm walking, because it's just not worth it to me. But to me, that's how it works. That's how it works for me.
Okay. As usual, you and Kev bring the pain. That's what's up. Appreciate you. Shout out to Mo. He said he gonna have to make a few phone calls, and then Ashe, man. Ashe. That's the way we're doing it. That's what we want to be done. Make people consider things, look at things in a different perspective. This is the End of the Bench podcast, rapping with HRap, on Built for This Network on Spreaker.com, and as well as here on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. Please hit that notification bell. Please, please, please. If you subscribe on Spreaker, you automatically get an email. If you hit the notification bell, you'll get a notification every time we launch. Thank you for tuning in. We hit every Thursday. Thank you. Along with other days, I'll keep posting them throughout the show. Now, forgiveness, how does it work? How does forgiveness work for me? Forgiveness is a process for me. First of all, I take assessment of the offense. And that's why you have the ability to push me from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. My situation is this. This is the way I look at it. You can offend me every day of the week, 7 days. You can offend me every time you see me, 4 times a day. You can call me and say something offensive every day, all day. Because first and foremost, you may not know that offends me. Most offenses are mistakes. Disrespect is intentional. An offense is a mistake. You may not know that that's offensive to me. Everybody has different triggers. Everybody has different things that set them off. There's no way to get around it. Point blank, period, right? Now, so I can forgive you for offenses. Disrespect, on the other hand, will not be forgiven. I'm not going to be bothered with you, because see, disrespect, in my opinion, has intentionality. You knew you can try to get under my skin by saying or doing what you did. I have literally, because I like to debate. Just fun to me. I have literally seen somebody tap somebody and say, watch me upset B. Now, they could ask me, what's my favorite, what are you drinking? And I'll be like, shit, I don't know. Somebody gave me this beer. Period. I don't share anything with them, because It's not that I'm angry with you. It's because, hey, dog, I'm not no fucking, I'm not no damn play toy. And that was disrespectful because you thought you were going to set me off. And the thing that he brought up, it didn't set me off. It wouldn't have set me off even if I would have saw him. But you think it's funny that I believe in what I believe and I speak compassionately about what I believe in. And you thought it was funny, so I just don't talk to him. Now, is this person still my buddy? Yeah, hell yeah. We still laugh and joke all the time to this very day. Probably call me at some point today. But no, you know, so forgiveness is about intentionality with me. You can say it, like I said, you can say 10,000 things to offend me, but you're only gonna disrespect me one time. Disrespect does not come with forgiveness. Disrespect comes with letting it go. Because again, the hardest thing in the world for somebody with a great memory is to let things go. I can forgive you, yeah, you know what? You're a sucker anyway. I got a homeboy who he'll swear to God, he's one of my closest friends. Try to sleep with my old lady. He don't know I know. And we laugh and joke when we see each other. We laugh and joke. I let it go. But I also look at him as a sucker. And when you're a sucker, that's what suckers do. You a clown. So why am I mad at you for wearing red shoes and the big wig? That's what you do. But guess what? I don't have you around my people no more. No, hey man, won't we do this? And then, you know, you got people who try to manipulate you. Because like it's people in my life that think I'm like, my ego is massive. But it's not massive in an offensive kind of way. It's massive in my mother raised me to have the utmost confidence in everything I do. Like I've said on the show before, I have enough confidence. Not saying that I could do it. I have enough confidence to go to YouTube and watch somebody perform heart surgery. I'll watch that video about 50 times and I'll be like, I might be able to do that. And I wouldn't be joking. But that's not arrogance. That's confidence. Because I watched very closely. I watched with the intentionality of understanding what was going on. I watched my man. Ain't nobody ever taught me how to change no brakes. I watched my boy change my brakes. I said, hey man, just stand here. I'm gonna do them next time. And I've been doing my own brakes since. Unless I don't feel like paying for them. Unless I don't pay for them. Like, I don't feel like that. Yeah. But I can do my own brakes. I taught my son how to do it. So it's just one of those things. And people think because I'm so confident and I speak passionately about what I say, they think I can't be moved. And anybody who's had a conversation with me for real, we done went RaiderKev. Me and RaiderKev been cussing each other out for about 6 hours the last 2 days. Literally, man, get the hell out of here. But guess what? He'll say, hey man, I got to bust a move. And then he'll call me back. And we don't even address what we was talking about. But most people who've known me 20, 30, 40 years would not tell you that that's possible, RaiderKev. So it's just one of those things, man. You know, it's just, I just let it go. But like I said, you can offend me. Offenses are mistakes. I don't need none of my people around me to be perfect. I just need you to be accountable. So if you can be accountable, and again, you ain't got to walk up to me with your hat in your hand. Oh, Brian, please forgive me. I ain't God. You look through that book all day long. You are not going to see Brian. You ain't going to see William. You ain't going to see none of that. You ain't going to see Dejon. You ain't going to see nothing. They got something to do with me. So I don't need you to think, I don't think I'm perfect. But if you make a mistake, just say, my bad, dog. That's it. You ain't even got to say, remember the time I punched you in the face because I thought you was stealing out my wallet? I'm sorry. You just be like, hey, dog, I was tripping. And if your character is going to dictate what you did. Everybody get a moment. Everybody get a moment. Now, I'm not going to kick your ass in the face, but that's not the situation. Well, yeah, I mean, this is one of those things, man. I ain't got time to be carrying that stuff and having a damn heart attack. And because people think because I get passionate, I just carry it. No. Hell, look, I went to the damn doctor today. They keep putting these little bitty blood pressure bands on me. Damn high pressure thing shot up to stroke. And they gave me the big one to put on this arm. It was normal. I could have spazzed out. I don't spazz out, but I walk through things. Hey, it may sound crazy, but the best way to forgive somebody is start talking to yourself and listening to the stuff that you say. And then when you listen to stuff you say, then you'll realize you've made mistakes too. And if you've made mistakes, that opens the door for people to forgive. RaiderKev got that from me. I hang up on a sister, call her back, and nothing happened. Hey, there you go. Shout out to my sister Janice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And for those who don't know who Janice is, for the Spreaker world, that's Jay Twice. Let me see. This is my favorite question of the week. Who want to go first? I'm going last on this one. I usually pick me in the middle of the show, but this is my favorite question of the week. And that is, do you agree with forgiving people is for that person? RaiderKev spoke on this earlier, but speak on it. Either one of y'all, whoever say me going, I got to hear this.
Go ahead, Charlotte. Go ahead, Charlotte. Ladies first.
All right.
Okay, so this is the question where if I forgive you, it's for me.
Yeah, or forgiving people, you know how they always say, see, forgiving somebody ain't for them, it's for you. Needless to say, y'all see, I don't have a whole lot of faith in that statement, so I want to hear it. I want to hear both of y'all believe it. I'm listening. I'm Frederick Crane. I'm listening.
Okay, I feel like forgiveness is for both sides, because the person that's doing the offending, and I'm going to use Brian's term, not disrespecting, because disrespecting, that's just toxic. They're doing, if the spirit behind the action, and I just feel like we can all feel it, right? If someone's being malicious or intentional, or if it's accidental. So if someone is just intentionally being disrespectful and just doing stuff to hurt you or to get a reaction, no, they get immediately axed out. They don't need to be forgiven, they just forgotten. But I feel like for those other things you said, the offenses, so I feel like the forgiveness is for both parties. I feel like if that person realizes, first of all, what they did, that's part of the problem. I feel, at least it's been in my experience, sometimes people do things and they don't realize that they're offending you. They're just being careless, you know what I mean, with their comments, or they may do something, and just because of the type of personality they have or the type of person they are, for instance, the comment earlier about the astrology. Oh, that's just how I am because I'm a Taurus. We're just stubborn. We're just the bull, whatever. So to me, that's ignorance, because they're not just using that as an excuse, but I think some people really believe that, right? And they use that because they truly believe that. So I feel like if the person recognizes what they did, and you're able to have a reconciliation, or at school we call them peace circles, right? You put them both together because you're trying to make peace between the two parties. I feel like forgiveness is for both parties at that point, because the person who offended wants to be forgiven. And then again, for us, it's not good for us to hold a grudge or to keep holding on to those things. And we need to let it go. So in that sense, I feel like forgiveness is for both sides. But ultimately, whether or not you can have a reconciliation, you can have closure or not, even if it's just quietly to yourself, I still feel like we have to be able to let it go, because holding on to it only hurts us. And obviously, again, that other person isn't thinking about us. They've gone on to offend somebody else or to do whatever. They've gone on their merry way. They haven't given us a second thought. And to me, that just keeps the pot stirring, right? Because then you get angry all over again, saying, I know they're not thinking about me, but this, this really hurt me. This really pissed me off. And so I just can't let it go, but we need to. We really need to, because I feel like that's blocking our blessings, right? Because somebody else may come along, and like Brian said earlier, he took out his anger on his friend, And I know he didn't mean to do that, but I feel like that's what happens when we don't forgive. So I feel like, again, forgiveness is for both parties, but ultimately it is for us.
Okay. Raider man. Go
Well,
Chiefs. No.
Like I said earlier, this is my process. So I'm not saying my process is the process, but it's what keeps me right. Okay. So just so people could understand a little bit about, I'm a lot like you, Brian, as far as, well, how you was or whatever. I used to hold things in. I thought that I was so strong that I could just take on everything, and I'm gonna deal with it, and I'm just gonna, we're gonna work it out. I can deal with it. Just come on with it. Come on with it. Come on. You got some more? Come on with it. I can deal with it. I'm strong, right? And what I realized that all I was doing was enabling someone to repeat the behavior, because they haven't recognized the fact that, that they did something wrong, right? Because I wasn't upset, or I wasn't showing enough anger. that was the word that was thrown at me one day. Well, you don't show enough anger, so I didn't think I was hurting you. Okay, so that's when I started realizing, I'm going about this the wrong way. So then I went just the opposite, and I went way too far the other way. So I started complaining about everything. I probably became a nag, right? So I would complain about everything you did. I would point out every single thing you did, and then it became more of a, you can't let nothing go. Everything bothers you. And I'm like, okay, so I had to find a balance there. And I started realizing that whatever a person does to you, you have to correct it, but you have to let things go for you. That's why I've developed this process for myself. Because if I take things on, if I let it build up, or if I complain about it all the time, right? It's going to affect me. And that person's going to go by their day without an issue, without a problem. So to me, forgiveness, to me, is more about me. Now, what I do after that is really defining how a relationship is going to move forward. Okay, because you could betray my trust, right? That's one of the biggest things that we have a problem with, right? Somebody betraying your trust, right? So you could betray my trust, and then I'll evaluate, okay, do I want to continue? An example, like you said, Brian, somebody said, watch what I'm going to do to Brian. I can piss him off, okay? So if I know that's that type of person, I could forgive the act, and I'm good. But I'm no longer dealing with you. You have no access to me anymore. Because I'm not going to, like you said, Brian, I'm not going to sit up here and just be your toy. You see what I'm saying? So you cut off. But I've forgiven you. Because, hey, if nothing else, man, you just pop a head. You don't know no better. You ignorant. I'm going to define you however I want to define you at that point, right? So forgiveness to me is about accepting what has happened, dealing with it, and then how I'm going to determine moving forward. So someone might say, well, you've forgiven me, so you can't bring it up, or you can't. No, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna straighten it out. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, whatever you did to betray we're gonna just use trust. Whatever you did to betray my trust, I forgive you for that. And you don't know it, but I've also said, because I'm having that conversation with you, I'm saying, hey, we're gonna try to work it out. Because if I didn't have that conversation with you, you got cut off. You see what I'm saying? So I think forgiveness is more about you accepting the act, accepting the betrayal, whatever it is, and forgiving the act, and then moving forward with the person. We'll talk about that later on, because we're going to talk about some other stuff later on. But that's how I process that. And I do think it is about me and not about that person. Let me say one more thing about that, because what I think is, whenever you let somebody get in your head, you're giving them power. And I'm not gonna allow nobody to have power over me. And my wife says she got power, but she don't have power over me. She just thinks she does. That's right. She in the chat room, huh? I better not say it too loud.
When she around, you be
it's too
talking.
late now. God dog.
Somebody sleeping on the sofa tonight.
Hey,
When she leave, you'll be talking again.
Say that out loud.
When she around, you be talking. When she leave, you'll be talking again. But with me, see, okay, because of my rule with offense versus disrespect, if you disrespect me, ain't no forgiveness. I'm done. See, because the disrespect the offense is everybody is available for that option. Offending someone. Because as you stated, you and Charlotte both stated, this can be happenstance. Disrespect is part of your character. Disrespect is who you are. You can offend me, and I might be mad at you for a week, month. Hell, with me, it's probably like 3, 4, 5, 30 years. I mean, oops. But yeah, you offend me, and me and Charlotte have a mutual friend. Well, we had a mutual friend. We have a mutual acquaintance. And he has offended me several times. And the first time it was like, I thought, Second time, it was like, the third time is when I should have cut him off. And I allowed people in me and Charlotte's circle to talk me into it because they gave me the line about longevity and the longevity of relationship. And I said, okay. But he was already skating on thin ice with irons on his feet. And he pulled it again. And I was done. Because normally, I was in this transition period of my life. And I was trying not to be that guy. I hadn't identified the problem. It really, not saying that I'm without flaws. I hadn't identified why I was spazzing out on people. So I was like, well, you are a hothead. Maybe they're right. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Even though he had broke the cardinal rule, like in Major League Baseball, gambling is the cardinal rule. You cannot gamble in baseball. Lying on Brian. I ain't forgiving. I ain't gonna go that far, but I was gonna say I wouldn't forgive Jesus, but I ain't gonna go that far. But I would. You got to be Jesus for me to forgive you for lying on me. If you lie on me, it's gonna take a whole lot. And you actually help somebody get forgiven, to be perfectly honest with you. But as long as you're not destroying my character, I can work with you. And if you're going to be accountable, like you said, we can sit down and have a conversation. We can get past it. But a lot of people in today's world will offend you, disrespect you, and because we're too old to actually throw some, like men, women, y'all different. You can offend a woman and she'll go, sister, and they'll talk about it and they'll yell at each other and then it's over, right? Men, when you cross that line, our natural recourse is to bust you in the mouth. But see, at this point in our age, when you are 51, 55, 40, anything, you go, I'm too old to be rolling around on the ground with this a couple of grown behinds rolling on the ground. Really, right, once you get past like 21, 22, no more fight. You shouldn't have no more fights unless it's a dire situation, right? So what I personally believe, this is a HRap belief. A lot of people in this world, once they get past that we're too old to fight precipice, they cross that line way more frequently. Because they know he ain't gonna kick my ass. Like, we ain't gonna fight. So it's just gonna be words. And then in their mind they go, and then in a year, a month, or whatever, it's gonna be too old. That's why me personally, an offense is the forgiveness part that everybody, we can sit down and have a disrespect. That was a choice you made. And if I forgive you, that opens the door, in my personal opinion, that opens the door for you to disrespect me down the road. And even though I've done some offensive things like cheating, that's offensive and that's disrespectful. And I've asked for forgiveness and I understood the forgiveness. But I at this point in my life, I'm not talking about relationships in like intimate friends. I'm talking about the people who you created your own personal family around, people you run with, the Big Illinois, the Kevins, the Docs. You know, the list is endless with me. I like people say I got a small circle. I don't, because I want to learn until the day I die. But those people who are purposely disrespectful and operate with reckless abandonment, nah. Forgiveness is for them, because then they get some of your greatness. I get some more great Charlotte, because I know if I'm in a jam, I can call Charlotte. I get some more great Big Illinois, because I know if I'm in a jam, Big Illinois gonna help me. I get some more great Pam, because I know if I'm in a jam, Pam got me. So nah, disrespect, I'm not forgiving it. I'm not gonna carry it. I'm not gonna carry it. I'm gonna remember it until my name is called up to the upper room. My fault. No. But I'm gonna carry it. I mean, I don't carry it, but I'm gonna remember. I'm genetically predisposed to remember it. Y'all seen me recall things from 40 years ago, so I can't help but remember it. But I'm not gonna be every time I see you, I'm gonna see you, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Depending on the level of offense, I'm gonna see you. I might speak. I'm more than likely, if you speak, I'll speak, and if you don't, fuck you. You're like my grandfather, Richard Prowley, used to say, rest in peace. Fuck you today, fuck you yesterday, and if I don't see you tomorrow, fuck you then. That's how I feel. So, you know, I think that forgiveness, a lot of these levels, is so people can relax with their nonsense, because we're not dealing with teenagers anymore. Our children are teenagers, but we're not dealing with teenagers. But the people who disrespect you at this level, that's with intentionality. That's with reckless abandon. And as you said, as Charlotte said, I got more summers behind. No, I only got like 45 more years to live. So, you know, I ain't finna be. Now, I'm you know what? Correction. I'm trying to beat Betty White record. You read the Bible, it says you're supposed to get 120 years. You guarantee 77. So I only got 25 on that 77 left. So I'm trying to add another 25 on to that.
Bonus content.
Yeah, bonus content. Yeah, I'm trying to get some bonus content in this life. Because Okay, this is the last question of the evening. Oh yeah, RaiderKev got a question. This is my last question of the evening. This is my last question. Does everyone deserve forgiveness? Booyah! That's RaiderKev.
I wanna say this respectfully, but hell no. Okay, so let me define that. Let me. Okay, so I gotta be consistent. So when I say I forgive you, and I say it's about me, okay, what I'm saying is I'm not letting what happened affect me anymore, okay? But do you have access to me? Are you able to get to me? Are you able to affect me in that way ever again? No, because I've recognized who you are. Okay, you are about that. Okay, and I ain't gonna deal with you. So, and there's some different levels. So I have, people that in my past, right? They have done me wrong, and I've forgiven them. But we don't talk. If I see them on the street, I'll speak to them, but I'll never deal with them. They'll never get the opportunity to hurt me again. In fact, some of them will not even get the opportunity to even understand if I had a good day or not. You know what I'm saying? It would be nothing. It would just, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? And they might be trying to hold a conversation. Hey, man, I gotta go. I'm going. But I'm not mad with them. I've forgiven the act because I don't want that act to have power over me. I don't want it to be able to affect me. So that's why I've forgiven the act. The person doesn't have access to me. And there's different levels. Some people, hey, look, they've done some horrible things, right? And they're still part of my life because I want that relationship to continue. We are working, and sometimes I'm working harder than they are. But what I'm saying is, there's a working process to try to get over and to get better, to build that relationship and for it to get better. So there's different levels to it. It depends on the person. So to answer your question, it all depends on the person. And some people, I think, they might feel like that's a lot of work, but that's my process. I'm not a lazy person. I think that, and I think it's rewarding because through my process, I have good relationships because people know how I feel. They know what lines to cross, what lines not to cross. I'm honest with my feelings. Look, when I was younger, I just explained, right? I held things in, and that wasn't good. Then I let too much out, and that wasn't good. So over the years, I've learned that happy medium, right? So now I think I do a good job of expressing myself, expressing my feelings, and giving you an understanding of where the lines are. So if you're a person that I feel I want to continue that relationship, if it's worth it, if I feel that you are, worth it, right? Just like, I'm not saying I'm, almighty, because you might not feel like I'm worth your time, right? But what I'm saying is, if I feel it's beneficial to keep this relationship going, I can forgive the act. I'm going to forgive the act regardless. I'm going to find a way of forgiving the act. Now, my process is, how do I move forward with you? So that's why I say that forgiveness has layers to it to me. I guess it really doesn't, because I just said I'm going to forgive regardless. Because I ain't going to let it, I'm not going to give your act have power over me. That's my thing. I don't want anyone to have power over me. I don't want you to affect my feelings. The only being that can affect my feelings is God. When I feel he doesn't love me no more, then I'm hurt. But if you do something wrong to me, if you do something to betray me, if you do something to hurt me, I'm not going to give it power. It's going to be a moment. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to forgive you for it. And then I'm going to recognize whether or not I want to move forward. So that's the way my process works.
All right.
No, not everybody deserves it.
Hey. We got Charlotte on board, on deck. Let's go.
Yes. Well, before I answer that question, I want to say, both of you, in your talks about forgiving people, not necessarily restoring your relationship with them, but keeping them in your life, both of you are bigger people than I am. Because once I make that conscious decision to cut you out of my life, you are cut. That's it. If you betray my trust, it will take a lot for me to forgive you, first of all. And even then, once I forgive you, you're still out. That's it. And I respect both of you. Maybe that's something, God needs to help me work on. But right now, keeping my circle small helps me. My circle is my family, my genuine family. And
That's
the two
what
of you
Mo
are
said
in
right
that
there.
circle, and that's it. And I mean, it could be, being an only child. Sometimes I think that affects me because I'm very much an introverted person. I don't like to speak in front of people. I don't like to show off. Big crowds make me very uncomfortable. So maybe that's why I don't have a big circle. When I'm with you, this is me on here having these conversations with you, and all these lovely people in the chat room. That's me. I don't pretend. I don't have different personas to be around different people. To me, that's work. And it could be that I'm a lazy person. I don't feel like putting on airs. I don't want to have 5 or 6 different faces. This is it. What you see is what you get.
Right.
And I'm a true believer that God brings people in our lives for a reason. And everybody's not meant to be in our lives for the long journey, you know. So my circle is small, but yes, once you have crossed the line, that's the door. You're out. I'm not going all the way to the Pacific Ocean. The minute my toes hit that water, boom, you're out. See ya. Now, in terms of everybody deserving forgiveness, this verse from the Bible, Colossians 3:13, says, "Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you." In the King James Version of our Bible, forgiveness is mentioned 95 times. So what sits most heavily in my heart is I agree with RaiderKev that there's different levels of forgiveness, but I feel like that's because we're human. But I feel like in God's eyes, there's only one level, and that's total forgiveness. So when I think about families in the courtrooms of who members of their family have been murdered, and they're able to extend that forgiveness to the person that committed that murder, that is a level that to me is so high. And I am so grateful that I have never experienced that in my life. And I don't even know if God will ever put that at my feet. And I pray I won't fail. But just imagining that, that has to be one of the most difficult things ever in life, is to be able to do that. And I know in my heart of hearts right now, I'm not at that level, but I'm working towards it, because I truly believe we appeal to God every single day. And I know myself, at least 50 times, I have thoughts run through my head and I go, "Ooh, I shouldn't have thought that. Please, Lord, forgive me." So if I want God to forgive me, I have to be able to extend that forgiveness to others as well. So just as I told Tiger Park earlier, we're all on this journey together. This is not home. Got to keep reminding myself of that too, right? This is not home. We're on our way home. So this is a journey. We're all on together. We walking each other home, right? So I may slip, but that's what I need Brian and Kevin to help me up, right? So we all know that none of us are perfect. We all know that we make mistakes. I know for a fact that I have hurt people, said something, done something, and I always say, please chalk it up to my head and not my heart, because that's not the kind of person I am. I will never intentionally hurt anybody else because I don't have that in me. But truly, I believe that, yes, everybody deserves forgiveness. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie The Shack. Octavia Spencer plays God in that movie.
Okay.
But there's this one scene, because it centers around a father whose daughter was kidnapped and murdered. And he is holding on, right? He's so angry. He has so much anger, so much hatred. It's impeding on his relationship with God. And there's this one part in the movie where she says, God didn't intend for us to be the judge. That's a burden he never intended for us to have. That's his burden. And that just, when I saw that, I mean, the tears were just coming down my face, and it just opened both my mind and my eyes. And I just said, I get it. That's not our burden. So I truly believe that in God's eyes, we all deserve forgiveness, right? And I feel like that's a major part of our faith. And so I truly work at that. However, my forgiveness is not weakness. I really think it's the opposite. I think forgiveness shows strength, that you are able to do that, regardless of people outside who may take our forgiveness or our kindness, our faith, right, and say, oh, they just leaving the door open for me to take advantage of you. No. That's not what we're doing, right? we're doing it because that's what we're commissioned to do. But that in no way means you can keep doing it. And both of you have said that over and over again. So I've already said, both of you are already better than I am because you keep those people around you. Whereas me, I'm like, see ya. See ya. So that's how I feel. I feel like if the Bible mentions it 95 times, there's a reason. And I feel like it is something that's difficult for us. But, just like Jesus bore the cross, I feel like that's one of the crosses we have to bear, that we have to overcome this flesh and the tendency to hold on to things and the judging, right? That's just, I feel like that's like a tick now. It's like a nervous tick. Before you even realize you're judging someone, those judgmental thoughts pop in your head. So that's a constant fight for me. So I do feel like, yes, we are meant to forgive others because we ask God for forgiveness so many times a day. And in his grace and his mercy, he gives it to us over and over again. And I feel like that's part of what we're meant to do.
Okay, man, that was awesome. I'm mad at you because that kind of goes in contra. You're going to throw God all in it.
Yes.
My
That's right.
messed up my ass. My ass was way better without God in it. But I'm going to have to trust that I ain't going to go to hell tonight because hell no. Everybody don't deserve to get it. Everybody deserves tolerance. Like when I look at tolerance, I look at Iblis, the devil, Satan, Necrosocrates, or whatever you want, and whatever you know him as, the evil one, right? He can go to and fro from earth to heaven. And I was, as you stated, he said in the Bible, "What you doing, man?" Yeah, I'm going to the fro of heaven to create chaos, right? And God ain't mad at him, but at this day and time, he can't. His room in heaven is empty. He's like, no, you don't want to go in there. It's messed up. I had to jack a nigga up in there. So,
That's true.
I don't think it's because we got people in this world, and I'm gonna look up the etymology of the word forgiveness, so I can get a true definition of it. Because some people are just negative. Some people have negative energy, and you know what? Now that as I'm saying this, I'm changing my mind mid-thought. Everybody does deserve forgiveness. It's access that everybody don't get. Right. And that story in the Bible, when he goes to and fro from earth to heaven, from the heavens to the earth, shows you, now they mad at him, but you can't come you can't hang out of it. No, you can't spend the night. You can come back and get you a drink, but when it's time, we close at 7 up here, man. You got to go home. We kicked you out. You got to go. So I guess everybody does deserve forgiveness, and that's change. That's in total contrast of how I opened the show. That is a 180 on how I open the show, because I guess everybody does deserve forgiveness, but access is the key. And then you have to ask the question, and I like to hear y'all responses. Should forgiveness include access? Because how you going to forgive somebody and then continue? All three of us said we hate when people throw it in our face. If you forgive and don't give access, and again, this is off the dome. This is a thought running through my head. If you forgive somebody, you should never bring that offense up again unless they unless they recommit the offense. And that's when access is denied. We're still cool. If you get stranded, I'll help you. But at this point, I don't see how you've evolved. And I don't want that negative spirit around me, because your negative spirit is going to bring more negative spirits. That negative spirit will block me from the very blessings God has for me, because at that point, I'm surrounded by demons. And as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, y'all know the rest. Thoughts on that? Either one of y'all can respond. Both of y'all can respond. I got time and I'm listening.
You want to go, Charlotte? You want me to go?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I immediately thought of my exes. I forgive them. I wish them all the best. on their merry way away from me. So, no, everybody does not deserve access. And yes, I have forgiven you.
Right.
But no, you no longer get access to continue to take advantage of me, intentionally hurt me, and do all those things, right? We already said we don't want to be around those people, which is why I cut you from my circle. So I've forgiven you, and now I'm telling you, move away from me, right? Go about your merry way. I don't think denying you access means I haven't forgiven you at all. And the funny thing is, my ex-husband, I think it was like maybe this when my daughter graduated from high school. So we're talking, this will be 4 years coming up. He actually asked me for forgiveness, and then in the same breath said he hoped that I wasn't currently dating anybody or had remarried because he hadn't asked me for forgiveness. So basically, on the one side of his mouth, he was asking for forgiveness, and then out of the other side of his mouth, he thought I was waiting for permission somehow to date again or to remarry. And I just looked at him like, you making me want to take back my forgiveness. So yeah, denying access is for a reason. It's for my sanity, okay? But that's it.
Oh, wee. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, like I said, now I see. Now I'm gonna go just opposite of what HRap did. I love the fact that Charlotte brought up God.
You don't need no God. I was talking to him last night.
Yes. See, the reason why I said I'm gonna forgive, it was basically for what she said, right? I'm gonna forgive a person because that's for me, okay? And also that's what God commands us to do. All right, that's part of that. Like she said, how many times in the Bible is stated?
95.
So obviously, it's an emphasis, right? So the main thing, though, you're not stupid. That's why I say you have. To me, I forgive you, but then there's levels of access I will allow you to have afterwards. So if you are someone I no longer want to deal with, I'm gonna forgive you, because if I see you 3-4 years down the road, you're probably never going to understand why I'm being polite, because I'm going to speak to you. I'm not going to hold any grudges, but I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to have access to me. I'm not dealing with you. Okay. Other people who I choose to move on, I will move on, and I will try to work it out. Now, by forgiving them, now this is something that I hate, because, you know, I know you guys think I'm perfect, but I've made mistakes. So what I hate, though, when I make a mistake and it's just held over your head. So that's what I question. If a person forgives me for something I did, yet keeps every time something happens, but you remember you did this? So now I'm questioning whether or not you've really forgiven me. You see what I'm saying? So go back to my process. When I forgive someone about something, I'm not going to bang it over their head. Hey, you did this, you did that. What I will do, though, is, and I have to use an example to try to explain the process, right? So I'm going to go back to trust, okay? So let's say somehow you betrayed my trust. Let's use money. Okay, I gave you a loan, or I gave you money, and you did me wrong or whatever. Now, I might have a relationship with you later on, and I've forgiven you for whatever happened, but you asked me for money, or we talk about money, I'm not gonna say, hey, you know how you did me dirty a few years ago? No, I ain't you can't have nothing. I'll just simply say, look, we have issues with that. I'm not ready to move on from that. So I'm not beating your head over what happened, but can we deal with it some other kind of way? Let's find an alternative way of doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because I've forgiven the act. I've moved on from it, but I haven't forgotten. And I'm not going to just allow you to hurt me constantly with this same issue. So Charlotte said it earlier. My forgiveness isn't weakness. You know what I'm saying? And that's what some people don't recognize. Just because I've said I've forgiven you, just because I'm a Christian, and you hold up that Bible and you say, hey, God said you should forgive me. Okay, yeah, I have forgiven you, but I haven't forgotten. And I'm not just going to give you access. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to constantly hurt me. And because I haven't cut you off, I'm not even telling them that. You almost got cut off. We still got a relationship, right? But keep going, and I'll change my mind about that.
I think I just found my loophole. Hey, when we after the show, we always talk. Remind me to tell y'all this thing about what care. Y'all gonna love it. I can't say it out loud.
Okay.
I just want to say, RaiderKev, I agree with you. And yeah, we hold our Bible in one hand, but God also didn't make no fool.
Exactly.
Speaking of God and forgiveness,
mm-hmm.
God says you had to forgive a person. He didn't say you had to do it today.
Right. There you go. Okay.
So I can wait right before I die. Forgive you, Nick. And then I'm still in compliance. So, well, you had a question, Kel. It's on you, Black.
Oh man, I forgot my question, man.
Oh,
hold on. What was it?
Does forgiving mean forgetting? Okay,
yeah. So we kind of addressed that, So yeah, man. I think that's a good. We need to really talk about that. We need to emphasize that because, to me, we don't recognize how that really works. Because you forgive someone, do we actually forget? Can we forget? I think it's irresponsible to forget, in my opinion. So I'm going to answer my own question. I think it's irresponsible for you to forget. You can forgive a person, but then forget that it ever happened. To me, that's irresponsible. That's kind of like on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not holding the person accountable. So if you come back and say, man, I just can't, this person just keeps hurting me. Okay, so how did you try to correct it? I understand you forgave the person. What did you do to correct it? Well, once I forgave them, it's over, right? No, it's never over. The process has to continue. You have to get better. So I keep saying it over and over and over, but I think it means a lot. I give forgiveness for myself, but I'm never going to allow someone just to walk over me constantly just because I forgave you. I'm not going to forget what happened. Never, ever. So that's my answer. What you guys' thoughts on it?
Before we go into it, while you were talking, you and Charlotte were talking, I was looking through the etymology of the word forgiveness, and it took me to pardon. And pardon is to release with nothing. So this is something to ponder on. You up or I'm up, Charlotte?
You can go because now you got me thinking about what you just said.
All right. What's the question again, Kev?
Does forgiveness? I got to read it, man. Does forgiveness mean forgetting?
Does forgiveness mean forgetting? No. And just like you said, at first, up until about 20 minutes ago, I was enjoying my day without back pain. And now that I'm sitting there, my back didn't kick back up. So I forgive the doctor for faking me out. No, I'm just playing. because I could stand and walk. So I said, I won't sit down no more for the rest of my life. I'm good. And I can lay down and not hurt. So I'm good. But on the serious side, can you forgive? And I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you forget, then you're putting yourself in a position to be re-damaged. Because let's not forget, man. Let's just be honest. When somebody hurts your feelings, somebody disrespects you, or somebody does something that offends you, it take a chunk out you.
Right.
No matter how irrelevant they are in your life, that takes a chunk out of you. You know why I say that? Why would we say, I ain't talking to you no more? Because you got a scar. You have a mental scar. That's why I've reconsidered that old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Actually, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words hurt like big time.
Right.
You know, it's women who've been subject to domestic violence. Ask them, do words hurt them? Yeah, right. Some of these men are beating some of these animals are beating these women into submission, right? And then they dealing with it. But some of these dudes out here telling these women they worthless, telling women they fat, don't nobody want you but me, and all that. And that bothers these sisters for decades. Or these men who they father, you a punk, you a chump, you ain't never gonna be nothing. And you ain't never. Now, some people turn it into becoming multi-trillionaires. Some people buy football teams to get 6 sexual harassment cases put on them in the Washington, D.C. area.
Yeah, become president.
Some people turn it into something positive and then let it affect them later on in a later date. So I mean, the whole concept of bigotry and hatred, you don't really hate me. You hate you because you look at me and see better, and you look at you and see worse. And that's because somebody more than likely told you would never be something. So you can release, but you can't forget. I mean, it's impossible to forget. It wouldn't be like Charlotte brought up scripture. The scripture that God wants you to live in abundance of happiness, abundance of joy, abundance of peace. You can't have happiness, joy, and peace thinking about with a memory. Now, if you could boop and hit the reset button like you're doing your iPhone, and then it comes up and you get your phone numbers back, you get everything back but the thing that hurt you, then you cool. But with human beings, we can't do that. So maybe, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't believe in forgive and forget, because you can't forget. Forgive and release, forgive and move forward. Yeah, you can do that. But forgive and forget, not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. It is hard. Like Bessie just said, I can forgive, then I can't forget. I can't read because I ain't got no damn glasses on. But it'll be hard for me to trust that person again. That's just my thought. Thank you for your thought. And it's on you, Wilson. And then you can get your last word and caregiver his last thought, and then I'll shut it down like Chuck D.
All right. Well, we've had this discussion before, and I shared that that forgetting part, that no matter how hard I work on it, it's just like, like when we see something and we wish we could scrub it out of our vision, but you can't unsee it, right? It's the same thing with our memory. That's just something that's very difficult to forget. And like Brian said, I truly believe emotional scars are equivalent to physical ones, if not more so. I cannot. And like I said, the two of you are in a much better place in terms of even keeping people. You'll even speak to the people that you have forgiven. But me, depending on the level, I won't even keep you in my circle. You're just gone. That's just it. So definitely, I cannot get to that forget part. But I'm working on trying to do the best I can in terms of moving on and trying not to dwell on it. And like RaiderKev said, I'm definitely a believer in Once we've made peace with something, I never want to hear about it again. I don't like that nagging. I don't like that constant bringing up something. If we've discussed it, we made peace with it. That's as close to forgetting as I want to get. Like I know I don't want to bring up or rehash something, because then you just killing, right, the other person's spirit, because you just keep bringing it back and bringing it back. And so, okay, well, you're showing me that you haven't forgiven me, right? Because if you truly forgive somebody, then you're able to let it go. You're not gonna keep bringing it up.
Well, I haven't forgiven RaiderKev about that Larry Bird conflict.
I haven't either.
Get over it already. Get over it.
I'm not letting that go. And that's it. But ready. Final thoughts.
I feel like forgiveness is so important. It's so important. We have to heal, and I feel like unless we're able to forgive people, that healing is not going to occur. And I feel like forgetting also doesn't happen, because I feel like the scar that's kind of left, that memory is like a scar. And I feel like Brian said is to help us not repeat past mistakes, right? So that history doesn't repeat itself. So those are my thoughts. I feel like it's just important that we forgive, so we don't hold on to all those toxic emotions, because we all know life is hard enough every day. We have those little battles that go on. And so if you're holding on to these toxic feelings, that's just going to tear you down that much more. And so it's important that you be able to let all that go.
All right. Thank you very much. As usual, it was awesome.
So my final thoughts on this, we kind of touched on it earlier, and I wanted to start my final thoughts by saying, Charlotte mentioned earlier, let's go to the Bible. Okay, so I think forgiveness starts with how I think your relationship with God has a lot of things to do with how you react to forgiveness, or how you deal with forgiveness. Okay. If you want to go what the Bible says, right, you should forgive because he forgives us. He forgives us. You can be a murderer. You can commit the worst sins ever. And if God knows that in your heart you have been better, he can forgive you, right? So how can we not do the same? Okay. Now we're human, so we're not God. So we don't have his powers. Huh?
Speak for yourself.
Hush.
So I understand that we have to work on it at times. But here's how I do it. And I want people to consider it, right? When you hold on to things, when you allow people's actions to affect you, most times it's not even affecting them at all. All it's doing is affecting you. So if you can work through the process of forgiving whatever is happening to you, I think mentally it'll help you. Because if you hold on to that, if you hold on to the fact that they did something wrong, you try to analyze, you try to figure it out, hey, sometimes it's just what it is. Forgive the act, let it go, and move on. For you, not for them. It's not about them. It's about you and your health. Okay? Now, how do you deal with that person later? Like we said, that's another discussion. You ain't got to speak to them. You ain't got to deal with them. That's up to you. But don't hold on to things. Don't take that act and let it affect you in a negative way, because now they have power over you. And that's the one thing we have to not allow to happen. We can't allow people to have power over us. So be strong, understand, people are not perfect. and just move on. Learn to forgive.
Most people.
Move on. Look, we're going to talk about that later. Because some things you just can't forgive, all right?
Yeah, like Larry Bird.
Yeah, like Larry Bird. Anyway, so the thing I really want to drive home, guys, really, we've talked about this on other shows. Our mental health is so important. And I think this kind of ties into it, because when you hold on to things, when you keep things just weighing you down, and like Brian said, they could be living their best life. Do something to you, and they living their best life, and now you are suffering. That's why I say what I'm saying. Learn to forgive. Learn for you, not for them. I can't stress it enough. I'm not saying for them. I'm not saying to allow them to just walk over you, but to learn not to allow that to affect you. And then you move forward with that relationship, however you determine. Whether you cut them off, like Charlotte said, you can't even look my way. Okay. Or if it's, just a passive relationship, whatever it is, right? Or if it's something that you need to work on and you want to invest time and effort, whatever you determine, okay? But that act, whatever occurred, whatever hurt you, learn to let it go. It'll be better for your mental health.
Oh, well, outside of that, I guess I can forgive you for that Larry Bird thing. But what I want to do, man, and this is really just in close. This is gonna close it out real quick, put a nice bow on it. And the bow is simply this, man. Whatever you came up with tonight, thank you for tuning in. Whatever you came up with tonight is just simply a conversation. We don't have the answers. We don't pretend to have the answers. We're not psychologists. We're not psychiatrists. We're not PhDs. We're not part of the think tank. We're just three people offering our opinions and hoping it triggers thought and hoping it'll make you go talk to your friends. Or if you're an offensive person, hopefully make you stop and think before you, basically load up your brain before you shoot off your mouth. And then we'll have less offenses. We'll have less disrespect and more offensive. People who have been offended or feel disrespected, take a step back, look at the person who's done the act. I know RaiderKev know a lot about sports. Just because he don't know nothing about Larry Bird don't mean I can't respect his opinion. I ain't never forgiving him for the Larry Bird comment, but it is what it is. But on the serious side, me and RaiderKev disagree on this Larry Bird topic and this Derek Carr topic. That does not mean his opinion is invalid. He just sees it one way, I see it the other way. And what we need to do is start building up tolerance of people and their opinions. As Chris Chrisman once said, you have your wrong ass opinion and I have mine. So, but on the serious side, that's really where we have to go. You have your opinion, I have mine. It's okay to disagree, and we move forward and never. And as Charlotte said, we ain't got to bring this up. Charlotte RaiderKev, both of y'all brought it up. We don't never have to bring this up again. But I'm gonna keep bringing it up, throwing it up in his face. But that's totally different. That's in fun. But in real life, unless somebody actually does, even when they do bodily harm to you, if they do something like homeboy who's trying to date my ex while we in the middle of our relationship, I tolerate him now. I don't hold it against him. Shout out to the homie, he watching. For real, he's watching. but seriously, I ain't gotta hate him. It's just, again, you got to understand, some of us walk around here with these big red shoes and their red nose. Some people were born in it, and that's just who they are. They're clowns. And if you're a clown, I'm not going to get joined the circus so you can be comfortable. I'll just deal with you on that level. We can't get close. We can just be around each other. We'll never be close again. And again, if you ever get stranded, I got you. If I ever had the bread, like If I had $1 million and you needed 10 grand, and as you won't get kicked out your house, you got 10 grand. God bless you. But we can't hang out and have beers. We'll put it like this: we can, because we might be over RaiderKev house, and we hang out, and then, hey man, you need to come through tomorrow. Hey man, I'm busy, man. My bath water on fire, and that's it. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in as usual. With a little luck, I'm working on my cousin. I'm 99.9% sure tomorrow on Rapping with HRap, I'm going to have my cousin on. She's the same age as my mother. And what we're going to do is walk down memory lane. I'm going to talk about her earliest childhood memories. How was life during that period? The things that she wanted to discuss, the music that she liked. How was it growing up in that, being a teenager, being a preteen, being a teenager? Because I just realized today on my way home, after I left the doctor, she lived through some momentous situations. And my cousin, who's on last week, I'm going to have him back on and ask him to relive those same situations. I didn't ask him about him. We were talking about his life. We're talking about my cousin's life, and then we're going to inculcate those things that were going on that are monumental in the history of the United States of America. And I want to ask her, how was it growing up in that period? You were a child at one of those periods. You were a teenager during the next stage. You were a young adult at the next stage. You were an adult at the next stage, and then you were a full-grown adult with children after that. So we're going to talk about these things because guess what? A lot of people in this world don't. See, you think that because a lot of us, I'm not going to say you think, a lot of us think just because we've lived this many years, all of us know what happened, and you should know. That's the most popular thing we say in our community. Well, you should know. Why should I? I should know how to spell. I can't spell my damn name. I don't think I can spell as my damn name, but I should know because I went to high school and I graduated from college. Shout out to Spell Check. But, I should know, but I don't. So it's a lot of things that everybody should know and we don't. So I'm going to continue to walk down memory lane every week because the violence of non-remembering is real. I'm gonna say that again because it might have missed some people. The violence of the inability to remember. And what is just break down, like Charlotte does this all the time in school. I'm sure it's a compound, how does a word develop? Some words are compound words. Sometimes, a portion of the time. Remember, we have been dismembered from our history. We have been put over here and not told about our history. And our history is over here. So we will remember, put our memories back together and learn from them. So I'm going to do that. And if you know somebody, tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in, or tell a friend to reach out to me if they want to tell their story, because we need to remember. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button. If you're on Spreaker.com, hitting the heart. If you are on YouTube with us, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, please. Tell a friend to tell a friend, hit the share, and use the all on the notifications. That way, every time I log on, you'll get it. Please, if at all possible, hit the like if nothing else, because YouTube plays games. If you don't hit the like after so many shows, you get unsubscribed. I have plenty of people that say unsubscribe, but I don't ever get a notification. That's because they don't hit the like. That means the algorithm is saying you're not really part of this and you don't get it. So please do that. And I like I say every week, salute to Craig Smith, salute to Reggie O'Shea, aka Combat Jack, rest in peace, former entertainment lawyer, and he is the podfather. He the dude who introduced me to podcasting and got me moving forward mentally. And y'all already know how I do this. I salute the people who do things that are monumental in the podcast space. And those people are the Ghetto Boys, Willie D and Scarface, Tariq Nasheed, Nori, Talib Kweli, Ray Grady, Zoe Williams, Corey Holcomb, Craig Smith, Al Sharpton, the illustrious Heather B, the brother Clay Kane doing wonderful things in criminal justice reform, Larry Daniel Favors, one of the greatest host in the history of sound. I'm not joking. I go Tom Joyner to read down your favors. No kidding. And Dr. Greg Carr, one of the most informed human beings I've ever had the pleasure of coming across. Professor Karen Hunter is the queen mother of this whole situation. She She has dedicated her life to empowering you. And the Black Eagle, Joe Madison, one of the greatest men that ever walked the earth. He's not popular, but I put him on the same level as the great Dr. King, the great Malcolm X, the great Kwame Ture, and a bunch of other brothers and sisters that we don't pay attention to. Joe Madison, salute to you, mad respect. He's an elder, and we must acknowledge Joe Madison. Now, with that being said, rest in peace to my friend Lamar Figgins. His services are tomorrow. Lamar Figgins, I met him in 1984 as a freshman at Western House Vocational High School. Excellent human being. He transitioned, rest in peace, and mad love to his beautiful wife, another one of my classmates, Victoria Figgins. Rest in peace, Figs, man. You the boy. You will be missed. He's an ancestor now. And I got mad love for him. He a good dude. It is no was. He's still here. His children are here. His wife here. I'm here. Lamar Figgins, rest in peace. Class of 88, West House Vocational High School. We are a family. With that being said, y'all already know how I end every show. I ask you to do one thing. I need actually do two things. I need you to download the 5 Calls app. 5 Calls app. The 5 Call apps allows you to reach out to your representatives and complain to them. Understand something little as 50 emails, 50 phone calls, 50 phone calls. Call what's the name of the thing? Call Congress. You can literally call Congress and bug the hell out of them. And 50 of us did it and said the same thing. They don't want to be inundated with 50 phone calls. Your state rep does not want to be inundated with 50 phone calls. Your state senator does not want to deal with that. So something as little as 50 calls. Now, this is an election cycle. I need you to get 5 people you know registered to vote. 5 people you know. Even if you already registered to vote, go and re-register, because Dr. King's cousin, the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his cousin, who used to eat dinner with him at the house that she currently lives, were kicked off the voter scrolls. She has not missed an election in her entire life. She goes to the election spot in Georgia, the last election, and they said she was off. So re-register, register 5 people, get the 5 Calls apps, get the politicking app so you will know exactly who you're voting for. You got judges who are let you tired of the criminal justice system being one side. You got judges that you have to vote for. Look up their record, politicking app. And with that being said, hey man, y'all already know how life goes. If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for tithes, now his people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans thinking they claim, and you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth and the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.